Hi there guys, me again, Ryan JC, and today I'm going to be helping you guys, hopefully, with some issues that you could potentially be facing whilst practicing the art of astral projection. Okay, I came up with 13 reasons. These 13 reasons are the same issues that I used to have within the past before I developed my own technique. Okay, before. I used to try other people's techniques. However, they would never quite pan out because of specific reasons. Incorrect information that they were telling me, which at the time made sense to the people who were listening. It's a part of making your communication skills pretty good. That also pertains to an expanded awareness, to be able to function in that way where you're aware of a person's struggles, how they're more likely to absorb your information if you speak a certain way. But you already know that because I talked about it in my video, Kundalini Awakening Signs. So after getting through these 13 issues, I thought to myself, you know what, everybody is pretty much the same. I keep getting the same messages on my social media where people are asking me, hey Ryan, how do I stop this from happening? Or how do I get to the vibrational stage? Okay, we've all come across these problems. I myself had the same problems most of you, if not all of you, are having. Okay, when it comes to agitation, not being able to stay still. When it comes to not being able to get past the vibrational stage. When it comes to just falling asleep. When it comes to not being able to fall asleep. You know, all of these little issues with astral projection, I've gone through and I've fixed. I'm going to be telling you guys how to do the same. So let's start. 13 reasons as to why you're possibly not astral projecting today or yesterday, whenever you tried. Okay, first off, do you believe that you could do this? A lot of people doubt themselves because they're constantly pulling from their past experiences. Sad thing is they pull from their experiences where they've learned or tried other techniques which are completely different compared to the new ones that they are trying. I've seen this so many times. Okay, maybe somebody would try the rollout technique and then they would try another technique, maybe my 4-step crash course, which has nothing to do with the rollout technique. It's different. It is still different. Even if there's a little bit that's different, it's still different. You shouldn't be approaching one course with the same mentality as the other course. If you do so, then obviously you're also going to be carrying the failure aspect of that other course to the new course or to the new technique. So never carry mindsets from one technique to another. You're just assuring failure. It could also be because they're hardcore skeptics. Yeah, they want to be able to prove to themselves that it's real, but unfortunately, they disbelieve in the potential possibility of them having an out-of-body experience more than they believe in the ability to have an astral projection experience. So at the beginning, they're at a very big disadvantage when it comes to them being able to achieve this skill. What they would have to do is sit with themselves and really think, okay, why don't I believe that this is possible? Is it because I've heard other people say that it's not possible? And if so, why am I listening to them? There is a point within everybody's lives where they choose to believe somebody else over their own experience. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be done like that. Any information you're hearing should be information for, well, bewilderment. I wonder if that's possible. I would like it to be possible. Maybe I should figure out how to do that, or at least contact people who have done it before. But within the society, people hear of people doing things and they automatically discredit it because of their own limitations of what they believe they're capable of doing. So if they cannot believe in the possibility of them leaving their body and existing outside of the brain, because they believe that the brain is the central hub, that without the brain you cannot exist, then they cannot astral project, okay? So if you're like that, you're gonna have to sit with yourself and go through all of the mental blockages, all of the belief systems that suggest otherwise, and you're going to have to go through all of them piece by piece and try to look at them in another way. It's pretty simple, really. If you find a belief that was taken from somebody else, and that person's never had that experience, therefore they're not a credible source of information, then think to yourself, okay, why am I believing somebody who's never experienced something? If that to you doesn't make sense, then start to look at other examples within your life where you've also taken information from other people who haven't experienced certain things. What will happen is your internal reality will shift. The way you view situations will shift. And that will carry on into your future and into your present. So now every time you hear information from somebody, you're going to ask them, did you experience it? How did you experience it? And again, you're not bashing them. You're not trying to disprove their information. You're asking them generally, how did you get to that conclusion? Because I too myself want to get to that conclusion. When you do that, they'll either stop talking or they'll tell you how they came to that conclusion. Maybe just 6 reasons will be enough for today, then part 2 some other day. Number 2, impatience. Impatience is a killer of meditation. It's going to take you a while to shift your consciousness, or to at least figure out how to shift your consciousness from one state to another. You cannot get to point B or to Z without also learning the other letters of the alphabet. Same with astral projection. And unfortunately, people are so used to getting things on demand all the time when it comes to their music, when it comes to their movies, when it comes to their food, that when they want to experience an out-of-body experience, they expect to just experience it like that. Astral projection isn't like that. And I'm glad that it's not like that. Because when you learn to be patient with yourself, when you learn how to shift your consciousness into all these little tiny states of consciousness leading up to the end result, then you actually learn how to do more than just astral projection. You'll learn how to get into such deep states of meditations that you can utilize that within other areas of your life. You could utilize that within other areas of your meditation practices. When it comes to memory mastery, when it comes to even remembering where you put the remote or your car keys, you'll know how to behave differently because you've also behaved differently within your practices leading up to astral projection. Therefore, you can take little components and you can mix and match, discovering new abilities outside of astral projection. You can discover astral travel. You can discover how to move things with your mind. You can become more of an empath. Refine that ability completely to a T. You could even begin to access verbal telepathy. So could you imagine going to do one thing and then you come out learning like 5 or 6 new things? Not only that, but it helps in every area of your life. So many people need to start focusing on the fact that they're more abundant than they think they are. And abundance comes in so many different shapes, forms, and sizes in ways that you couldn't have possibly imagined. You could even end up discovering an ability that nobody knows of yet, which could be better than astral projection. I kid you not. I made a list of all the abilities I have, and I stopped writing them down when I surpassed 22. Okay, so that's saying something. And that was before I learnt how to fully astral project deliberately on demand. So get excited about being patient. Get excited about learning new things about yourself. Get excited about learning how to play with this tool of the body, of the breath, to do certain things with your mind, and use that to increase the duration of time that you're actually practicing. Number 3 is arrogance. Wow, arrogance. A lot of people think they know it all already, right? They've tried a technique beforehand, somebody else's technique, by the way, a technique that's performed in a completely different way. And they'll say, I already know how to do it. I've been doing it for the past week and it's not working. Or I've been doing it for the past 3 days and it's not working. Right? Honestly, all techniques work. All techniques work. It's entirely down to the individual who's practicing the technique. If you come in with the mindset that you already know how to do the technique, especially if you've got a long, huge, full course, like over my website, that 10-step full course, that's 10 steps. Spread out over an hour's worth of content, okay? If you just skim through that and you expect of yourself to already know or have learnt all of that technique just like that after just watching the course once without taking notes, no, that's not how it works. I'm more than sure that you've missed a lot of information there. So if you're doing the technique and you're saying, I'm doing it and it's not working, then it's probably because you're pulling from older techniques that you've tried and that you've remembered. Therefore, your subconscious mind is replacing that mindset of failure that's rooted in failure because you failed within the past, and it's using that with the new technique. And because it's using it with the new technique, you're now recreating your failures within this now moment. And you'll also do that with other techniques. You'll start to carry that with other people's new versions of how to do something. Now, again, I'm not bashing you guys. I'm not saying naughty, you're doing the wrong thing. Really, this video is just me telling you how I screwed up. And it's through my awareness of how I screwed up that I've gotten to where I'm at today. Okay? So take notes. Okay, this is possibly where you could be going wrong. If you can't relate so far, then congratulations. You're one step closer to achieving an out-of-body experience. But let's see if that's still the case after this next one. Number 4. Pit stopping. I really don't like this one. And I'm pretty sure other people who have tried astral projection, especially my friend Renoir, he said the same thing on tape. When you astral project, you cannot sit with one technique for 30 minutes, think to yourself it's not working, and then move on to the next one. For the same reason that I've previously stated, ignorance, thinking that you know how to do it already. You cannot say, okay, I've tried it, it's not working. No, you've probably tried it, failed at actually executing it because you haven't fully understood how to do it. Therefore, it's not working. And then you go on to the next one. The issue is there are so many techniques out there available to everybody that it makes it too easy to jump to the next one without fully tearing apart the previous astral projection technique. And again, this goes into my last few examples. Okay, the ignorance, thinking you know everything. Drop that ignorance. Learn something new. Develop patience. And don't pit stop. Not only that, but the people who have tried for long periods of time, people like myself and friends of mine who have tried to astral project for years on end. Okay, I tried for a couple of months before I actually nailed it, like properly, all the time. Like my hit rate was pretty high. A couple of months, okay? There's about 4 weeks within a month. 4 weeks, 7 days in a week. You're averaging around about 30 days or 31 days within every month. Most people nowadays are contacting me saying how they've tried for 3 days and they're getting no success. I'm done. 3 days. You gotta understand something, okay? Veterans at this skill have tried for years on end. If you told them that, they would get so frustrated with you because they realize that you're not taking it seriously enough. They'll realize the gap when it comes to who you are and who they are. And in realizing that gap, they'll realize that there is a very slim possibility of you astral projecting. Very slim. Because you're just not built for it. That's the truth. You can't be the kind of person who tries for 2 days or even up to 7 days a week, has no success, or hasn't experienced an astral projection experience, and then thinks, okay, I'm done, I'm not trying anymore. I've tried for a week and nothing's happening. You don't do that in school, do you? When it comes to learning a new skill in school, you learn every day for years on end. Going past 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, up to 7th, 10th grade, I was learning things PE. I was learning PE, okay, physical education, from like grade 4 all the way through my life, even up into college, past grade 10, into college, and some people have even gone into university, their entire life practicing a skill. How many days are within, I don't know, their entire life so far, right? Leading up to university, quite a lot. So you need to put in the time. I'm not saying it's going to take you years and years, your entire life to experience astral projection. But what I am saying is, if you start off with the knowingness that this could potentially take a while, but I'm okay anyway trying it, that actually yields more results than thinking, okay, I'm going to get this done in a day or 2 days, or by the end of the week, I'm leaving my body. Trust me, okay, I cannot stress enough. If you approach astral projection with that mindset, you could accidentally be out of your body in a couple of days. It's weird. It's like your subconscious mind frees up all this space to learn because it's anticipating the time that's needed in order to learn all of this information, which actually causes you to learn faster because it leaves your mind open to more information. Number 5, you're creating instead of receiving. This is an issue. A lot of techniques out there tell you to create with your mind. Okay, my technique on how to astral project, the crash course, I say visualize, but I do not say create. Sorry if you guys misinterpreted the information. I probably should have taught you guys in more depth, but I made a crash course. I wanted it to be fast, crash course. The full course, I do talk about this. When it comes to receiving information, the difference is so large that in and of itself will allow you to open your third eye. So if you're creating stuff within your mind, try not to create at all. Matter of fact, if you find yourself creating, nip it in the bud, just stop. Try to remember times where you've just automatically received information within your brain. Faces, voices, maybe ideas. And tend to lean on that. Now, let's make more sense of leaning. When you remember a memory, it causes your mindset to shift into the same patterns of thinking that you used to think in within the past. If you remember deja vu moments, you'll be more privy to having another deja vu moment. If you get really good, you can then learn how to have constant deja vus, even reverse it. So that it doesn't feel like you've done something before, it feels like you're going to do something in the future. Therefore, you'll turn it into a premonition ability. You see, so by learning how to shift your awareness back into old states, you'll gain more abilities, you can expand on more abilities, and that will help in astral projection, especially if you've done that before. So, when it comes to receiving information, when have you received information within your past? At those moments within the astral projection techniques that you're learning, no matter what technique it is, learn how to develop that skill of receiving rather than creating, and you'll find yourself in other locations. It's very useful, and it's a big game changer when it comes to leaving the body. Number 6, then I'll close down and probably make part 2 to finish the rest of this video. Number 6, you're under the belief that you have to stay within a fixed position. This isn't true. Okay, this isn't true. Think about it. When you go to bed, when do you stop moving and why? You keep moving to get comfortable, right? You stop once you're comfortable, and then you fall asleep. Then you're able to access different states of awareness. You're able to go into deep states of consciousness. But first, you move to get comfortable, and then you stopped moving to allow yourself to enter these deep states of consciousness. Use that information, that experience that you've probably just thought about whilst I was saying it, with your astral projection techniques. Okay? Then you'll know when to stop moving and when to move. Initially, with any astral projection technique, you should move to get comfortable first, and then don't move in order to do the technique. And then again, you move to get comfortable again, after which leaving the body because you've entered a different state of consciousness, because you've allowed yourself to get comfortable. You got comfy, you stopped moving, now you're out. So that's going to be about it for this video. These have been 6 reasons as to why you're possibly not astral projecting. I will do a part 2 to make up the rest of the 13. I'm Ryan JC, Ryan James Cropper. Stay tuned, subscribe to look out for part 2 if you haven't subscribed already. Let us know below if there's something else that's stopping you from astral projecting. I'm Ryan JC, Ryan James Cropper again, and I'll speak to you guys pretty soon. Peace.